If you're an entrepreneur or you have any kind of business right now, you better be paying attention to Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Wait, what?
Whether you love it or hate it, don't get distracted by the sensationalism around it, because there's a very valuable playbook here if you look between the lines that could actually skyrocket your business overnight. Whether Travis and Taylor will be the real thing or just a flash in the pan that lasts about as long as Aaron Rodgers' first game with the Jets, one thing is crystal clear. Travis Kelce may be one of the smartest businessmen alive right now for teaming up with Taylor Swift. So sit tight, because in this video, I'm going to share with you the 6 tactics that we decoded behind the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce economy that you can implement this week to scale your business faster than you can say Tay-Tay. And yes, you can do this even if you're not dating a global superstar or pro athlete, and even if you don't have a big following. Now, if you still don't believe me and you're scratching your head wondering why should you even care about this in the first place, before you write it off as another tabloid, let's look at some stats. BT, or before Taylor, Travis Kelce was a pretty good player in the NFL, or something like that, I think. People who liked football knew who he was, but he wasn't a Tom Brady, he wasn't a Patrick Mahomes, and all those names swamped him in reach. So in a sense, it was like only real football fans knew who he was. Now, to be fair, Travis seems to always have had a good business mind. He does have a podcast with his brother, and he's been getting some traction on social media with less football crazed fans, letting him tap into a slightly wider audience and making him more than just an athlete. But all that to say, this paled in comparison to where he is now, just a few short weeks later. So during the Chiefs vs. Jets game, Taylor Swift graced the Chiefs suite with her presence, and since then, Kelce has gained around 900,000 followers on Instagram. Not to mention, Kelce's jersey sales have increased by a whopping 400%, bringing him up the rankings from the 19th into the top 5 overall sales in all the league, outranking his teammate and QB superstar, Patrick Mahomes. He's also arguably become the most famous player in the NFL right now. Now, prior to all this, Taylor Swift was actually touted by anybody that could see what was really going on here as a marketing genius, with her world tour this year coming in around $2 billion in sales. She broke Ticketmaster and she sells out in seconds. She's got a global reach that can't be rivaled by many. In short, she's everywhere. The attention generated by the two of them together, though, is making waves at every economic level, outside of just football, outside of just Kelce and Swift benefiting. The Chiefs, the NFL, New Balance, a clothing company behind Kelce's outfits, and many, many others are seeing the power of the Taylor Swift effect. So while I'm not saying this is all just a PR stunt, and I'm also not saying it's not, the lessons at hand are powerful and can be implemented in any business. So let's jump into what this means for you, even if you're smaller and you don't happen to be dating a global superstar. First, this one strategy is something that you can implement today to instantly blow up your social media, whether you're starting from scratch or you already have a following. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift right now are the perfect example of something called trend jacking. Kelce, whether intentional or not, jumped on the coattails of a popular figure that has way more popularity than he does. And Taylor Swift is always trending. And as a result, his own brand has exploded in the process. His podcast now has over 1 million subscribers. Let's also note the timing here. Kelce just so happens to have a documentary coming out right around the time of his association with Swift. Oh, and she too has a movie coming out. Promotional genius. And you can use this in your own business right now by finding something that's popular, trending, or finding a brand name that's popular and then creating content around it. A great example of this is a YouTube channel called What's Inside, where they literally break open all kinds of things just to see what's inside. Dan, the owner of the channel, wanted to do a soccer video, so he bought 3 World Cup soccer balls from eBay from different years. And even though he filmed the video a few months prior, he actually sat on it until the World Cup was live. And then when he released the video, World Cup was trending, so the video took off and got tons of views. Reviews, comparisons, and breakdowns are also an easy way to take advantage of trend jacking that don't require quite as much creativity. So for example, you could just take popular books or movies that are out right now, or you could take popular famous people or personas and give your take on them. So you could do, say, the top 3 things you learned from, insert name of book here, or my breakdown of so-and-so's morning routine, or the 4 things that I learned from, insert famous person here. Now, this is not only a good way to drive traffic, but it also establishes you as credible and gives you easy content ideas. One of my top performing videos on my YouTube channel right now, even though I made it about 2 years ago, and it's still gaining views, leads, and subscribers for me today, is just a breakdown of a book called Ready, Fire, Aim. And as I'm sure you figured out by now, that's exactly what I'm doing here in this video. I'm just taking something that has mass appeal and I'm applying it to my own industry in my own way, just by breaking down the marketing side of it. And whether the current rumors of a breakup and a smash new single about the breakup, right before the Super Bowl, of course, are true or not, trendjacking is your ticket to an engaged, expansive audience. Second, if you want to build an empire and have longevity, you have to understand the concept of building a brand, not a business. A business is transactional and it can be up one day and gone the next. But a brand is a movement that people will follow and pay money with unmatched loyalty, even if we're in a recession, even if they can't afford it, or even if they've just lost their job. In other words, it's not about the product or service. It's about the story around it. Best known beats best delivery all day long. And if we look at Taylor Swift, she's a major force to be reckoned with when it comes to influence. She wears rhinestone shorts and the next day they're completely sold out. She even made Apple crumble in submission with a single Tumblr post after they announced that artists would not be getting paid with their new streaming music service during the trial period. She said Apple wouldn't be allowed to stream her new album, and boom, Apple caved overnight and announced the very next day that artists would be getting paid. That's influence at the highest level. Case in point here, and I know I'm gonna get some hate for this, but can we be honest for a second? Taylor Swift is not the most talented musician. I mean, have you heard the lyrics to Karma? But she's still breaking the internet with her ticket sales to the tune of billions of dollars, and she's the highest paid female entertainer in the world with a whopping $92 million that she took home in 2022 alone. Why? Because she's the best known. Travis Kelce, on the other hand, is really good. He's a super talented player, but that didn't sell his jerseys. Enter Taylor Swift, and now he's got more clout and more fandom, mainly because people are just hopeful that Taylor Swift is going to show up at the game. But at the end of the day, his contract value as an athlete has gone way up. And you better believe that he's now going to be able to get away with way more when it comes to the NFL. He sells more jerseys, he sells more tickets, he's well known, and no matter what anybody says, whether a team openly admits it or not, most sport franchises would rather make money than win games, even though the two usually go hand in hand. So they'll take the player that's going to sell those tickets over the supremely talented athlete all day long. So it doesn't matter if you have the best product or service in the industry if your competitor is more well known than you are. And when you have a brand, you are virtually uncopyable by your competitors. You have a movement. You have people tattooing your logo on their bodies. So how do we do this in our own businesses without selling out football stadiums? For one, if you've ever studied cults or religious movements or wondered how the historical figures and dictators of the past got people to follow them blindly as they did, one major common thread that they all have is a single attractive character that people can rally behind. So this means that you need to be building under your name. Your business is a personal brand. I don't care if you're selling life insurance or software. Do not hide behind a logo. Now, this is why we always tell our clients, with very few exceptions, to publish content under their personal names and personal accounts. And most of the time, we tell them not even to bother creating a separate profile for their business. Now, you can put the two together. You could put your name dash company name, kind of like we do here, but you always want to have your name and likeness lead the way. So if you do this, not only are you on your way to creating a movement and a brand, not just a business, but you're also going to be able to pivot into anything or any space later on. So you want to sell a new offer? You can, because you have an audience of raving fans. You want to branch out to a new industry? You can. You can't do that if you do everything under your company. And when you build a personal brand, you can also collaborate with others because that brand now has a wider reach and reaches more people than just a company name. So it has more value to those people. Now, more on that in a minute. All right, so next, after you have your attractive character established, you want to create an identity for your followers that they can buy into. Now, this part is key. People have to feel that they are part of something, not just following someone. Taylor Swift's fans are not just fans. They're bought into this movement as a way of life, right? They proudly call themselves Swifties, and they have an instant bond with anyone else who identifies as a fellow Swiftie. They've bought in for life. And when you've effectively given people a new identity or a name that resonates to their very core, they aren't going to bounce around to price shop. They aren't going to want to see what else is out there before they make a buying decision, and they're not going to leave you for a lower price competitor. People go through crazy lengths to be part of this and stay part of it, no matter the cost. All right, so third, one of the biggest mistakes that I made building my business and really just in life in general was not understanding the power of relationships and the transfer of influence that can happen just from having the right connections. One of the fastest ways to build relationships at scale that can expand your reach and your sales is by starting a podcast. When you have a podcast, you can invite people that you want a relationship with on your show to be interviewed. Another way to do this is you can offer to be a guest on other people's shows that have your audience already. And actually, a podcast is exactly how the entire Tate Trav thing started in the first place. Kelce went to a Taylor Swift concert with the intention of handing over a friendship bracelet to her that had his phone number on it. Now, the friendship bracelet, by the way, is another sign of the Swiftie community. So another part to the attractive character and the identity is having icons around that movement, which is brilliant. And the friendship bracelet happens to be an icon of the Swiftie community. Now, he wasn't successful in reaching Taylor, but he did talk about it later on his podcast, and that is ultimately what got her attention. So this is exactly, by the way, what Taylor Swift has done her entire career that's catapulted her to stardom. She's constantly collaborating with other people. She's writing and releasing songs with the Ed Sheerans and the John Mayers and the Chris Stapletons of the world, all artists that had a massive audience and a different audience than hers. And now, through collaboration, she's been able to gain their fans as well. And okay, some of these collaborations were actually people that she's dating, then breaking up with, then writing a song about it, but the same principle applies. The NFL is even tapping into this now too. It's long been known that the NFL has had goals to expand their reach to other demographics. It's why they have games in Germany, they have games in London, and they're tapping into the youth market with their flag football programs. And now, thanks to Taylor, they have an entirely new audience coming on board from the Swiftie community, one that's highly coveted in the sports world right now, and that is women. Connecting with others allows you to grab their audience, and you get to borrow off the trust that they've already built with their followers, which gets transferred to you by extension. It's a shortcut to building an audience that works. This is the power of relationships at scale. Plus, when you start to actually build a platform that others can benefit from in the form of giving them exposure and attention, you'll be able to attract more influential people over time. And a rising tide lifts all boats, so both brands benefit from the exposure. Okay, this brings us to number 4, build JV or joint venture partnerships. If you want the fastest, most sustainable path to scale your business, joint venture partnerships are one of the best sources of traffic out there. You can go on hiatus for months and not touch anything in your business and still have sales coming in if you have affiliates or JV partners. Plus, there's a reason why so many players in the online space are actually making a massive push right now away from paid ad dependence and into organic content and affiliates. Now, we're seeing this play out in the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce thing in a way that's selling even non-related products. Taylor Swift was spotted wearing these New Balances to the Chiefs game, and the next day, they were completely sold out. A clothing company behind the outfit that Kelce wore to the game that Swift attended got millions of views and impressions after they quickly changed the name of the outfit from Bedroom Painting to 1989 Bedroom Painting after one of Taylor Swift's albums. And of course, let's not forget that NFLshop.com and Fanatics.com are enjoying the surge in Kelce jersey sales right now, many of which are actually being purchased by Taylor Swift fans that probably never had an interest in the NFL before this. And apparently the NFL has even asked networks like ESPN to run commercials for Taylor Swift's new movie for free. So that's the power of building a brand that people want to be associated with. Free traffic. What's better? Okay, so how can you actually implement this in your business without the NFL behind you? First, make a list of perfect or ideal partners. Now, generally, these are going to be non-competing offers. So obviously, you're not going to partner with someone who does the exact same thing you do for clients, but you do want them to be related. If you think about the customer journey, your offer solves a problem somewhere along that journey. So what you want to do is look for partners that solve problems either before the client needs what you have or after. Now, these are complimentary offers, and by partnering, you're adding massive value to your client. So for example, if you design websites, a great partner might be somebody who does Google ads, because once your client has a website up and running, they're gonna wanna push traffic to it. Another method to get your way into new audiences is through simple collaborations. So you could just team up with other creators and tag them in your reels on Instagram, or you could create YouTube videos together. This gets you more exposure to the other person's audience and vice versa. It's a win-win. The Chiefs in the NFL are seeing this play out right now, right? The last 2 weekends when Taylor Swift was spotted in the suites at the game, viewership rose and her and Kelce both got more airtime. But again, the ripple effect extended well beyond their own benefit. Next to her in the box, Jake from State Farm, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, just to name a few. And I'm sure their Google searches have gone up now as well. And just from the collaboration of Kelce and Swift, Swiftie fans are buying tickets to these NFL games just on the hope that they're gonna get a glimpse of Taylor while they're there. Collaborations can be an easy way into new audiences and more exposure and attention. Which brings us in closing to the idea of Instagram shoutouts. If you want to tap into someone else's audience and drive them to you or your offer, Instagram shoutouts can be an effective and quick way to drive traffic. These are kind of a paid way of doing a collaboration. You pay another influencer or brand to post on your behalf and drive people back to your thing. This is way cheaper than airtime or running ads, and once again, you get the benefit of getting trust quickly. The people that follow the other brand or influencer that you're working with already trust them, and if they believe that influencer is actually bought into your thing, you naturally get that trust extended to you as well. So in closing, the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift thing may be a fling, but it's a true example of what you can do in your business if you leverage the power of relationships, you build a brand and not a business, and you focus on generating attention through social media. So comment down below and let me know which one of these 6 tactics was your favorite. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you got value from this video, and I'll see you next time.